We've all been in those environments where I feel like I've struggled to find a point of connection. And I wish that I could be in an environment sometimes where I don't have to explain myself to anybody. I can say things and the rest of the room goes, yeah, man, we get it. That makes sense, you know?
ChildBridge is starting to work on some connective programs for foster dads. Is that important? Is it important to rub shoulders with other dads in this journey that we're on in fostering?
Absolutely. I've been in the church my whole life, and I've pastored and tried to convince people to get in small groups and all that stuff. And I've been in small groups, and I'm sometimes, even as the pastor, I'm in a small group going, oh my gosh, I can't stand this. This is awful, you know? Because like I'm in a small group with guys that live in a completely different world than me. You know, like they're all in construction and drive big trucks, and they talk about big trucks and construction. And I'm over here going, well, I mean, anybody had any good coffee lately? And so we've all been in those environments where I feel like I've struggled to find a point of connection. And I wish that I could be in an environment sometimes where I don't have to explain myself to anybody. I can say things and the rest of the room goes, yeah, man, we get it. That makes sense, you know? And so I think for that purpose, there's a lot of value in being connected with each other. I think what's true is that in general, most of us on this journey, we go to work or school or even church or our neighborhoods, and we look around, and this isn't criticizing the people around us. It's just a reality. The vast majority of people that we interact with do not understand the uniqueness of the journey that we're on. And so it's critical that we regularly are in connection with people who totally get it. And I think it helps. It's going back to what we said earlier about it's important that we pick our head up from the thing that's right in front of us and be reminded that look around, you're part of something bigger than just the thing in front of you. Those connections do that. It helps us get out of our own little world and be around other guys and go, oh, okay, this is good to be reminded. I'm not alone in this. There's other guys in this. This feels good. Yeah.
Yeah. So, if we've got a guy who, that sounded kind of good, but, his schedule is busy. And any of us who do this, our schedules are extremely busy. ChildBridge, we're embarking on a dad's journey group where we're going to use some of the material that you provide through your videos. And I know it to be a really valuable space, but how do I get my husband there? Like, what would you suggest I do or say, or how do I do that?
I get busyness. It's true for all of us. It can also be this external scapegoat that we use. It's not my fault. It's busyness's fault that I can't do this. Well, no, it's yours. And I think, and I get it. We're all busy. So the expectation for each of us is, what decisions can I make that create margin and capacity for me to be meaningfully connected and engaged to things that are helpful for me? And it will probably require, I'm going to do less of something and replace it with something different and better. I'm going to do less of game playing or TV watching or social media, and I'm going to replace it with something that's pouring into me and helping to form me. And I think as wives, it could be a helpful motivation for their husbands is simply to say it is to communicate the value that they experience through meaningful connection with other wives that are on this journey, and to encourage husbands in the fact that it would be really good for them to also have some of those meaningful connections and to help create margin and capacity for that. Like, hey, you don't need to worry about things at home, right? I got it. And I want you to go out tonight and be with these guys. I think that it's really important. But also if we can find ways to make it accessible for guys, because I get it. We're all busy. So can we help meet them where they are a little bit and maybe stack some things on top of each other? Well, I'm in my truck a lot, going from job site to job site. Are there ways that I can stack on top of that time I'm already using, listening to things like this, like a podcast, or, or having a once a week phone call with a guy that I'm connected to, just a quick check-in. So I think it's helpful that we not only think in terms of what are some things that I can remove from my plate and replace with something better, but also what are some things that I simply can't remove, but can I stack the time a little bit and use it more efficiently?
I know for me, when I have people in our space, it's like the gym. It gives back to me when I spend time with them. And I know, James, you and I, we can joke about, before this, you were like, hey, you texted me, I'm not riding high this week. Like, I don't know. Do you want me on the podcast? I was like, yes. And let me prove it to you. Let me send you a text thread between me and my daughter to show you how great I wasn't doing myself. and just a reminder, we're all low crawling in on our belly in this thing. And yet it's really helpful when I can look eye to eye with somebody who is in the trench too. And that really gives back to me.
To that point, it's important that men are connected with each other and able to have conversations that are unique to men, that are going to be different than maybe what their wives talk about. I find really helpful when I'm in rooms of men when we start talking about quantitative and qualitative measures of success, because most men will have jobs and those jobs measure them quantitatively. And that's the world we live in. And it's so different. And when we talk about what does success look like, and when we talk about what are some helpful tools to temper anger or frustration, and a guy goes, oh, good. It's good to know I'm not the only one that wants to blow my lid every once in a while. No, of course not. But where's that coming from? Well, it's coming from a desire to protect and control, but not control like in a bad way, but just make sure my family's good and provided for. And so let's celebrate that and recognize where some of these maybe unhelpful things are coming from, and come back to what's the root, the good root, where that's coming from, and how can we adjust and help each other. I think it's just really important. And really having those meaningful places where we can come into the room and say, hey guys, I don't have what it takes. And everyone else says, welcome, neither do we. You're in the right place, And going back to that conversation, I think I often think of the story of the feeding of the 5,000. Again, something most of us are pretty familiar with. And the story is basically the disciples recognize a need and they come up with a great plan. Somebody else should take care of this. We should send them away. And I'm really good at that. Like, here's another issue in the world, God. Somebody should deal with that. And he's like, that's a great idea. You do it, And so that's their plan. And Jesus turns it back around on them. You give them something to eat. And they eventually find some bread and fish. And the whole thing is sentimentalized, I think, for children's ministry stories and curriculum, where I think we kind of teach it in a way that makes it sound like, in great excitement and with great faith, they go and find some bread and fish from a boy and bring it back to Jesus, really hopeful, and excited. I don't think that's what's happening. I think they're frustrated. I think they say, there's too many people here to eat. We should send them away. He turns it back around on them. You give them something to eat. And I think they're going, seriously, man? Like, how are we supposed to do that? Why do you have to complicate this? They go and find some bread and some fish, I think, to prove a point to Jesus, not because they're excited, oh, this is going to be great. I think they're coming back to Jesus saying, and you should have listened to us. This is all that there is. There's not enough. We tried to tell you. And Jesus takes it. We all know he multiplies it, and then he shows off a little bit and he makes leftovers. Totally unnecessary. But I think Jesus is like, oh, we're gonna do a little points proving battle here now. Well, watch this, And I think the whole point of the story, among many other points, but an overarching principle is, we don't have what it takes to do what you're asking us to do, and we kind of use that as, this is our ticket out, right? And Jesus, I think, is going, yeah, I know. I just need you to know that. And now that you know that, here's the reframing of expectations. I don't expect you to have what it takes. What I do expect is that you be willing to give me what little you've got and trust that I can multiply it exponentially. And I think that's a really hopeful message for all of us, particularly for men who, I don't like feeling like I don't have what it takes. I don't like feeling inferior or insufficient. I want to feel like a man. I want to feel like I've got this. I've got it covered. I know what I'm doing. But there's a freedom in recognizing our limitations and our finiteness, and kind of standing on the edge of that crowd, going, "Hey, man, I don't have what it takes to do what you're asking me to do, and I don't feel really good about that." And Jesus going, "I feel fine about that, right? I just need you to be okay with that, and then we can get some real work done." And I think those are the kinds of things that we want to gather around, that help lift our eyes up from the thing that's right in front of us, to remind us I'm part of something bigger than me, and I'm driven and sustained by something that is bigger than me. And so, to the degree that we can be meaningfully connected and have meaningful resources that are helping cultivate and facilitate conversation that's formative, I think it's incredibly powerful.